to be showing you Madam Glam's July collection, which is their birthday collection. It also works out that it is my birthday collection, so I have birthday nails on that are Minions because the new Minion movie came out. So we've got Minions, double birthday. This collection is bright and just so fun. I love it. I love it so much. I love having these on my nails. I've got cupcakes and minions and a little minion holding up a sign that says happy birthday and polka dots and all of it and drips. I love it. I love it. I hope you guys are excited about it as I am, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
We are going to begin with doing some ombres on these. So the only nail that doesn't have an ombre in the background is going to be the pinky, but for the thumb and the ring nail, I'm going to start out with a purple to pink to purple ombre, and the purple is the color Pop the Champagne and pink is I Heart New York. Both colors super bright, absolutely gorgeous. The pictures online on Madam Glam's website really do not do these colors justice. They are just so creamy and so rich and so bright that they are absolutely stunning. I'm going to use the Madam Glam ombre brush on these nails that have the 3-tone ombre where it goes from one color to the middle to the other color just to help smooth it out. And then I'm going to use the color The Electric Yellow Gel Paint, which is from their new Neon Gel Paint collection. And I'm going to be painting the base of my Minion. So the yellow that comes in this birthday isn't so much, or the birthday collection, isn't really as much of a neon per se, but this electric yellow from their new Neon Gel Paints is the perfect shade for that. Otherwise, the Apple My Eye, which is this birthday bundle from them, or this birthday collection, just the yellow color is beautiful. It just didn't have that like bright neon yellow that I was hoping for. And then for the little Minion overalls, I'm going to be using the color New York Blue. This color, just like all the rest of them, you can see how pigmented they are and how a single layer is applying and covering so nicely. It's incredible. And they're so smooth and so creamy, just like the rest of Madam Glam's colors. The one thing that's nice though about these is if you're going to be painting characters or really painting anything, flowers or whatever it is, that stripes, you know, whatever floats your boat, you don't have to worry so much about needing to do second to third coats. Some of the Madam Glam collections and colors specifically are made so that they cover in 2 to 3 coats versus a single coat, giving them a really beautiful background for just a single solid color nail, or if you are, like I said, to do a background. However, it's always good, in my opinion, to have a pretty solid collection of colors that you can use for painting designs and characters. So these colors definitely check all those boxes. I use the color Meet Me in New York to paint this Minion sign, and then using the black gel paint, I'm going to start doing all of my outlining. Because these are neons and because I'm the person that I am and I love outlines, I'm going to outline absolutely everything. Like I said, because it's me. If you were not an outline fanatic as I am, you may decide not to do so many outlines. If that were the case, I probably would outline certain parts of our Minion's face, definitely like mouth and goggle. But if you wanted to skip some, you wouldn't have to do an outline around the entire perimeter of your Minion, around the sign. If you didn't want to, you would probably want to do a little bit of outlining right around where the his overalls kind of form that little pocket on the side, as well as the pocket on the front, and a little bit of outlining right around where the straps clip onto the front of the overalls. But you wouldn't have to do like a full all the way around absolutely everything outline style. I personally believe that since these are so neon and bright, the black outlines make everything stand out a little more intensely, making everything just appear even brighter than it is to start with. So if you aren't opposed to outlines for one reason or another, whatever reasons that may be, then I would go for it. If you're concerned about the time it takes to do an outline, one thing that I sometimes do when that's the case, I'm like, oh, do I have time to do, XYZ, whatever I'm working on? Do the most important steps of the outlining. So do, maybe his facial features, and then do his overalls. Obviously, you're going to have to add in his boots and his gloves that are black. Do those basic things first, and then re-examine how much time you have, how much time it took you, how comfortable you felt with what you were doing, and decide if it's worthwhile or not. If you paint those outlines and you're like, you know what? I have other things I need to be doing today, or I really like the way it looks just like this, then call it quits. Otherwise, if you're like, you know what, that wasn't too bad, and I'm going to just keep going, then you have that choice as well. I'm going to use the color Yellow Cab, which was from the Apple of My Eye bundle, and I'm going to be using that as the shading on my Minion, which allows some of that neon yellow from underneath to shine through the Yellow Cab, and it adds just that really nice richness to the areas that I'm adding the shadow to. So I just did basically one side of his body, and then I flash cured it with my little flash cure flashlight, and now I'm going to be using their silver chrome gel paint to do the silver fronts of the goggles and then the little side brackets. That silver chrome gel paint is absolutely stunning. I know I say this about so much of Madam Glam's various products that they're just so beautiful. Some of the products just stand out to me as even extra so. and that silver chrome gel paint is definitely one of them. I'm going to mix some of the New York blue with some of the white gel paint, and I'm going to use that to brighten up the overalls. When I did that and I added that little highlight, I used kind of a dashed line motion to give it sort of that denim texture. Using white gel paint, I'm going to fill in the Minion's eyes. For this Minion holding up the sign, we are not going to see his eyelids, so you are going to need to just fill the entire eye area in with the white gel paint. I'm going to adjust the position of my hand a little bit if you're wondering why this is a different angle. It just did not feel comfortable to paint the lettering the way I was positioned before. And I'm going to write happy birthday across my sign. Now, obviously, if this is for a different occasion or no occasion at all, you would want to switch what your sign says. Say you're going to do it for an anniversary party, you could say happy 40th anniversary. Or if it's for somebody's birthday specifically, you could give an age in there. Happy 30th birthday, happy 40th birthday, or whatever it happens to be. Or you can write something political on the sign, like bodily autonomy should be every person's choice, or don't take our bodily autonomy, if, depending on what it is you feel like writing on your sign. Sometimes it's hard for us to write something cheery on the sign. So after you have your sign written on, I'm going to use brown gel paint to add my Minion's eye color, then a little bit of black and a little bit of white. And now going on to the next one, which is going to be our ring fingernail, or the ring fingernail. I always like to speak as if I'm using the royal we or the royal I. I just feel like it, I don't know, feels more inclusive, but sometimes I catch myself and I feel like I sound like a dork. Anywho, with electric yellow, just like we started out with the previous Minion, we are going to be starting out this one. So we've got the basic body shape. We've got 2 arms in the air. This time, however, instead of a sign, this Minion is going to be holding on to a cupcake. I'm going to use the same color that I used for the sign for the cupcake wrapper, which is the Meet Me in New York. I'm going to use the yellow cab for my cake color. The fact that it's not quite as neon, I actually thought was really appropriate for the cake color. Plus, it went all together since that color is present in the design otherwise, and it worked out quite nicely. I used the I Heart New York for my frosting color, and then I'm going to go back to my New York blue to paint these overalls. Fun fact, that little girlie you saw in the beginning of the video, my daughter Melody, she saw these nails and was completely obsessed. Not because she liked them, but because she had questions. She had to know what kind of frosting these cupcakes were, what kind of cake they were, who made them, and why on earth were there drips on the index nail? Why would I do that? That is sticky and messy. That's a terrible idea. She has so many opinions. If I consulted her for everything, I imagine my designs would be a lot more logical and a lot less artsy and fun. But, when you're 4, things just have to be logical. Just like with the other Minion design, we're going to go through and outline everything with a black line. Same thing, do whatever feels like it's necessary. After you do those necessary parts, go through and add whatever other outlines you decide you want to do or feel like would look better if you did. If that's none, that's a-okay. If it's outlining every last little bit like I do, then that works as well. I am not putting on the Gru G in the center of these little overall, that center chest pocket, because the Minions didn't always belong to Gru, which is what the G stands for. And more I'm seeing images without the G on there. Originally, all Minions had the G, but now it's kind of a toss-up whether they do or not. And these are so teeny tiny that I'm going to skip the G. That was one of those things that I just decided to bypass because, sometimes it just isn't necessary. And that little tiny G I didn't feel was necessary. So I'm going to add a full opened mouth smile on this Minion. Both of the Minions that I decided to do have 2 eyeballs. If you want to switch it up and do something else, there's so many different slight facial changes on them. And some of them are taller, some of them are a little bit more like square headed. They're all pretty rounded on the top of their head, but some of them just seem to be a little flatter than others. 1 eye, 2 eye, what kind of hair do they have? I could keep going. So pick some Minions that you like. I just happened to pick 2 that have 2 eyeballs, but one thing is this one that I'm doing now, which I believe is Bob, has 2 different colored eyes. He has 1 green and 1 brown eye, which I think is such a cute little detail. So I'm going to do the shading around him with yellow cab, and then I'm going to add this little chrome gel paint goggles, little goggle frames right around there like that. If any of these lines get a little haphazard, a little messed up where they're not where they're supposed to be, it's really easy to fix that, especially if you're using gel paint. And the reason that that's so easy is you can just wipe it off. And you see me flash curing things all the time. Pretty much as I finish a step, I'm going to flash cure. And then after I finish a few things, especially if they aren't overlapped, then I'm going to do a full cure. Anytime you want to do something that's going to be overlapped, you do need to full cure it between. But if you're painting like the silver chrome and then you're going to go through and do some blue on the overalls, you can just flash cure and it'll save it. But if you don't flash cure and you want to erase something, you have to erase everything to the point that was not cured at all. So after you do each step, hit it with a flash cure really quick, and then you can save it. Otherwise, if you do make a mistake and you go to wipe it off with just a little lint-free towel, you're going to possibly remove little details that you would want to keep. I'm going to add some teeth into that big open grin. I used the yellow cab color to add a lower eyelid inside his eyes, and then I'm going to add some black outlines to those little areas that did not get them inside the goggles, and his pupils. Once that is done, we're going to move on to, this is going to be the index and the middle nail, and I'm going to do a 2-color ombre from New York Blue to Birthday at the Plaza. This is the nail that Melody had some concerns about, if you will. So we've got those two colors like that. Super easy for me to just say that you can ombre them without using a different brush. If you want to and you feel more comfortable using an ombre brush, go ahead. I was just fine doing it straight from the bottle. Now we're going to, and I actually skipped, we're going to do the cupcake nail first, which, like I said, I guess you had questions about that too. I'm going to use the color Meet Me in New York for the cupcake wrapper, just like I did on the little one in his hand. And then I'm going to do the yellow cab for the cake and I Heart New York for the frosting. I'm going to do each of these layers on the same time before I fully cure my hand, but I'm going to flash cure each layer. If you are intending to really overlap the colors at all, you are going to want to fully cure between each one. But as you can see, I'm sort of tucking this color in and around the little spiky edge of the color underneath it, and then I'll flash cure that again. This time I flash cured a little bit longer. I sped up the video, but I did flash cure it a little longer because I knew that the pink was going to overlap. All these colors that I'm applying with the brush are very thin, so just because that pink is overlapping a slight bit, it is okay. If you have a lamp that isn't quite as strong as mine is, then you may want to consider doing a full cure first. Depends on your circumstance, your scenario, how strong your lamp is, how new or old it is, and how thick you applied your gel. Now I'm going to go with my black gel paint, my beloved, and I'm going to do the outlines around the little cupcake wrappers. If you have never used gel paint and you want to give it a try, I can't recommend Madam Glam's gel paint enough. It is so user-friendly, it's so smooth and creamy to paint with, and it doesn't have a sticky, thick texture as so many of them do. After they've all been outlined, I'm going to take the color Hot Coral Gel Paint, and I'm going to be adding a little shading line across the cupcake wrappers, essentially striping them. After that's done, I'm going to mix some of the I Heart New York with the white gel paint to create a lighter, slightly brighter shade of pink paint and add some highlights to my frosting. Then, using the same colors that we've kind of been using all along, Pop the Champagne, I Heart New York, and Meet Me in New York. So the Pop the Champagne, that's the purple color that isn't used quite as much, but it's definitely in this design. We're just going to be adding some polka dots around the cupcakes. Make sure that you aren't trying to get the polka dots too close together, or you don't want them to be like the same color right next to each other. Try to vary it up, alternate it, and have it in a certain pattern. Now we're going to go to that index fingernail that's got Pop the Champagne, I Heart New York, and Meet Me in New York. And we're going to be painting the drips that apparently look very sticky. And we're going to start out with I Heart New York in the middle, and then I'm going to use Meet Me in New York on one side, and then I'm going to go to the other side to do Pop the Champagne, so it goes from a coral color to the pink to the purple. I do recommend whatever colors it is that you intend to use for a design of this style, that you start in the middle and then work your way out. That way, whatever color is in the middle, whether it's you're doing 3 colors or 5, or however many it is that you're doing, the middle color is in the middle, and then you can kind of balance how far to space the other colors from there. If you were to say try to start with the orange and then just work your way across, maybe you would happen to have space for 2 purple drips on one side and only one of the other colors, or you would run out of space for the purple. Whereas if you start in the middle and kind of work your way out, it keeps everything a bit more balanced. On the pinky nail, last but not least, we're going to begin with 2 coats of New York Blue just to make sure it's nice and opaque. And then using Meet Me in New York, I'm going to start by painting the cupcake wrapper just like the rest of the nails. This particular nail and this design is the same as just the rest of the ones, like on the little cupcake polka dot nail. So it's the same colors, same process, and it's just a little bit bigger. It's so cute though. I love all of them together. I wanted to do each nail a little bit different, but still have like the same color palette and the same feeling and the same, just in general, the vibe. I love them so much. So we've got the rest of this little cupcake. I did speed that part up a little bit more, but you guys get the idea. We've watched it a few more times already. If you have any questions about gel paint, gel polish, any kind of artistic stuff, just let me know. I know I've said this in a couple different times before. I love answering questions. I have no issue with it. I have had people that have sent me a question and said, I'm so sorry to bother you. Not necessary at all. I really do love to help. I may not respond immediately. Sometimes I get a little overwhelmed with questions, but I will absolutely respond. Send me a message on Facebook or Instagram or a comment. I will get back to you as soon as you can if you ever have any questions. So now we're going to apply a layer of top coat across these nails. The index nail and the pinky nail are going to be they're going to be matte, and the other 3 are going to be glossy. And then you're going to switch it up, and you're going to use those same 2 top coats, the No Wipe Gel top coat and the Velvet, to apply matte versus glossy details on top of them. So on the pinky nail, you're going to apply glossy top coat over your cupcake. Same thing with the drips on the index nail. On the middle nail, you're going to apply matte over the top of the cupcakes, and then matte over your Minions. And the matte's the Velvet top coat, and it's a no wipe top coat just like their glossy one is, and it doesn't mess with the clarity of the design underneath that. A lot of matte gel top coats will leave a kind of a cloudy look on top of them, and so if you have anything super detailed, like all of this work we've put into the Minions, it is very upsetting to do all of that and then go through and apply a layer of a matte top coat that is supposed to just mattify things and make it usually clearer to see, and then have it look sort of cloudy and foggy. Not what we want. So that the Velvet from Madam Glam is excellent for that specific purpose. I hope you guys like this design. Like I said, I'm absolutely in love with it. I think it is just so bright and cheery, and sometimes we need a little bit of that even in the darkest of hours. And I know for a lot of the women in the United States where I'm from, we're having a pretty dark hour right now. And these bring a little smile to my face even amidst all of that, and they gave me a little bit of some birthday cheer. So I hope you guys like it as much as I do. That whole collection and all the colors I use will be listed in the description box below, as well as a discount code, and I will see you all later. Bye!